Ladies and gentlemen, the road from average to fortune is not paved by chance. It is carved by decision. Fortune doesn't favor the lucky, it favors the intentional. Every man and woman who rose from humble beginnings to extraordinary wealth did so not by accident, but by design. They followed principles, timeless laws of success that, when applied with belief and discipline, transform ordinary lives into legacies. You are not bound by your past. You are not limited by your current circumstances. Your fortune does not lie in your environment, your education, or your connections. It lies in you, in your ability to think with clarity, act with courage, and persist with purpose. Let me show you 5 powerful steps, and a 6th that brings them all together, that anyone can take, from any walk of life, to rise from average to fortune. These steps are not theory. They are the foundation of every success story you've ever heard, whether they knew it or not. The first step toward building a fortune begins not in your hands, but in your mind, with the power to decide exactly what you want. This may sound simple, but it is where most people fail. They never truly decide. They entertain vague ideas, passing dreams, and half-hearted wishes. They say things like, "I want to be successful," or "I want to make more money," but those aren't decisions. They are hopes. A decision is definite. A decision is clear. A decision draws a line in the sand and says, "This is what I am going to achieve, no matter what." The truth is, your mind is waiting for instruction. It cannot move toward what is undefined. Just like a ship cannot reach a destination it doesn't know exists, your actions cannot align if your desires are cloudy. You must tell your mind what you want in crystal clear detail. You must be able to write it down in a single sentence. Not what others want for you, not what society expects from you, but what you truly desire. Something so personal and meaningful that it awakens emotion inside you the moment you think about it. Once you decide, the world begins to respond differently. You start to notice opportunities that were invisible before. Ideas come to you, people appear, resources show up. It's not magic, it's focus. Your mind is now tuned like a magnet to the frequency of your goal. And with that frequency comes direction. Decisions become easier because they either align with your desire or they don't. Distractions lose power. You no longer need to chase 100 things. You follow one with everything you've got. But here's the key. Your decision must be backed by commitment. It's not enough to simply say what you want. You must claim it like it's already yours. Speak it out loud. Write it down every morning. Visualize it every night. Your goal must dominate your thoughts, because what dominates your thoughts will shape your life. You're not just choosing a target. You're forming a new identity. The moment you make that decision, you step into the version of yourself that can achieve it. Don't be afraid to aim high. Don't settle for goals that feel safe. Aim for something that stirs your soul, something that feels a little out of reach, something that forces you to grow. That kind of decision demands your evolution, and that's exactly why it holds power. The size of your decision will determine the size of your life. Small decisions produce small futures. Bold decisions create empires. Remember, the world respects those who are clear. People follow those with certainty. Success responds to those who act with direction. So if you are tired of living with confusion, frustration, or average results, draw the line today. Choose your destination, not tomorrow, not someday. Now, because the decision you make today could be the spark that builds the fortune you were always meant to live. Once you've made a clear and definite decision about what you want, the next step is to build an unshakable belief that you can achieve it. Without belief, even the strongest plans collapse. Without belief, effort becomes half-hearted. Without belief, opportunity passes by unnoticed. Belief is the inner engine that turns desire into destiny. It's not just important, it is vital, because your mind will only pursue what it believes is possible. The rest it will silently reject, sabotage, or delay. Here is what you must understand. Belief is not a gift. It's a skill, and like any skill, it must be built. You were not born believing in greatness for yourself. You must choose to develop that belief, even when there's no evidence yet, especially when there's no evidence yet. That's what separates the average from the fortunate, the ability to believe when nothing around you suggests it's working. True belief is not based on your current reality, it's based on your vision of what can be. So how do you build this belief? You begin by feeding your mind. You become a guardian of your thoughts. You stop giving time to opinions, doubts, and negative voices, whether they come from others or from within. You replace them with truth, with stories of those who started from less than you and achieved more than anyone expected, with affirmations that remind you daily of who you are and where you're going, with images of your goal so vivid and clear that your mind accepts them as real. Belief grows through repetition. The more often you speak your goal, write your goal, and see your goal, the deeper it embeds itself into your subconscious. And your subconscious controls your behavior, your decisions, your energy. When belief takes root, your posture changes, your tone changes, the way you walk into a room changes. You become a person with presence, because you're no longer trying to convince others. You've already convinced yourself, but belief is also forged in difficulty. It's easy to believe when everything is going right. The true test is how you think when nothing seems to be working. Will you continue to act, to speak, to live as if success is coming, even when you see no results yet? That's the proving ground. That's where your inner power is formed, because belief isn't just about thinking. It's about trusting. Trusting that your decision is right, your path is real, and your efforts will pay off if you don't give up. Average people stop when results don't come quickly. Fortunate people keep going because they believe deep down that success is already theirs and it's only a matter of time. They act in faith and faith becomes fact. That's the secret. You don't wait for belief to show up. You build it, you live it, and in doing so, you align your entire being with the results you desire. So if you're serious about moving from average to fortune, don't just work harder, believe deeper. Because once belief is in place, everything else becomes possible. Once your belief is firmly established, the next step is to create a precise plan and begin immediately. This is where many dreamers remain dreamers, because they never cross the bridge from imagination to execution. You see, desire without a plan is just a fantasy, and belief without action is just a wish. To go from average to fortune, you must turn your clear vision and strong belief into a structured, intentional course of action. No matter how small the first step is, you must take it. Most people wait. They wait for the right time, the perfect conditions, more information, less fear. But the truth is, waiting is the language of the average. Fortune doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards those who move. The moment you take action, you separate yourself from the crowd. While others are thinking, you're building. While others are doubting, you're doing. That alone gives you momentum, and momentum is everything. Your plan doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be impressive. It needs to be clear and doable. Break your big goal into small, actionable steps. What must you do today to move 1 inch closer to your goal? That's where you begin. Success is not one giant leap. It's thousands of small, intentional movements stacked over time. Each one builds confidence. Each one builds skill. Each one signals to your mind, I am serious about this. The power of planning isn't just in direction. It's in clarity. A clear plan gives you focus. It removes distraction. When you know what matters, you stop giving energy to what doesn't. You wake up with purpose. You move with structure. You end your day knowing you built something real. Without a plan, even the most motivated person becomes overwhelmed. But with a plan, even an uncertain person can create massive results, because action creates clarity. But the most important part of this step isn't the plan, it's the immediacy of your action. Don't wait until the plan is perfect. Perfection is a myth. Action is what brings refinement. You learn faster by doing than by thinking. You don't need all the answers now. You just need enough clarity to take the next step. Once you move, new doors open, new ideas surface, New people show up, but nothing happens until you do. Taking immediate action sends a message to yourself and to the world that you are no longer a spectator. You are now a participant in your own success. That message shifts your energy. It builds self-respect. You stop waiting for permission, and you begin owning your power. Every small action taken today is a brick in the foundation of your future fortune. So ask yourself, what can I do right now to move forward? What can I create, learn, build, or improve today, and then do it? Because the life you want is not waiting for a perfect plan, it's waiting for your decision to begin. Discipline is the great separator. It's the line between those who wish and those who win, between those who start strong and those who finish stronger. Once you've made the decision, built your belief, and created a plan, discipline becomes the force that carries you through. It is what transforms fleeting motivation into lasting achievement. While most people rely on mood, the disciplined rely on habit. While others stop when it's hard, the disciplined continue. Because discipline is not about how you feel, it's about what you've committed to. Average performers work when it's convenient. Fortunate individuals work regardless. They do what's required, not just what's comfortable. They rise when others sleep. They study when others are distracted. They train when others procrastinate. Why? Because they are not driven by impulse. They are driven by vision. They understand that every act of discipline is a deposit into the bank of their future. Each day they follow through, they build strength. Each task they complete, they earn credibility with themselves. And this is the secret power of discipline. It doesn't just move your life forward. It builds trust in yourself. That trust creates unstoppable confidence. Because when you know you can count on yourself to show up, no matter what, you stop doubting, you stop second guessing, you stop quitting. Confidence is not something you fake, it's something you earn, and discipline is how you earn it. But understand this, discipline doesn't mean working yourself to exhaustion. It means working with intention. It means honoring your commitments, managing your time, and setting boundaries that protect your focus. Discipline says no when average says yes. It shuts down distractions. It avoids drama. It ignores excuses. And it always comes back to the mission. Your fortune will not come from bursts of inspiration. It will come from your willingness to do the work when no one is clapping, watching, or validating you. And yes, discipline is uncomfortable. It forces you to face resistance, to rise above laziness, to battle doubt. But that discomfort is where the transformation lies. Every time you push through it, you become stronger, more focused, more capable. It's like sharpening a blade. You cut through more because you've endured the friction. Without discipline, your goals remain ideas. With it, they become inevitable. So if you want to rise from average to fortune, stop negotiating with your feelings. Stop waiting for the right mood. Let discipline become your edge. Decide once and act every day. Show up not just when you want to, but because you promised yourself you would. And when that becomes who you are, success becomes something you no longer chase, because it begins to follow you. Success is not a solo journey. You may have the vision, the belief, the plan, and the discipline, but if you surround yourself with average minds, average energy, and average standards, you will be pulled back into mediocrity like gravity. The people you associate with are either watering your future or poisoning it. Every conversation you have, every voice you listen to, every attitude you absorb, it is all shaping your future. That is why those who move from average to fortune become ruthlessly intentional about who they let into their environment. Look around you. Are the people in your life lifting your standards or lowering them? Are they encouraging your dreams or mocking them? Are they pushing you to be better or pulling you back to who you used to be? These questions are not emotional. They are strategic, because your environment will always win. You cannot swim against a current forever. You must change the current, or it will wear you down and pull you under. People don't just influence your actions, they influence your identity. You begin to think like them, speak like them, and expect like them. If you stay around those who make excuses, soon you will too. If you stay around those who complain, quit, and coast, you'll start to normalize that behavior. But if you get around people who speak growth, live with intensity, demand more from themselves, you'll rise to meet that energy. Because excellence is contagious, so is mediocrity. Choose wisely. Building a high-standard environment means being intentional about more than just people. It includes what you watch, read, and listen to. Your mind is being fed 24 hours a day. The question is, are you feeding it growth or garbage? The average person spends hours consuming entertainment. The fortunate person spends hours consuming education. Books, mentorship, strategy, they are constantly reinforcing their belief and sharpening their mind. This also means learning to let go. Let go of toxic relationships, time, wasting habits, and comfort zones disguised as loyalty. Not everyone can come with you. Some people are part of your history, not your destiny. And while it's difficult to release what's familiar, your future demands it. Because your circle should not just accept your greatness, they should expect it. Anything less is a threat to your vision. When you create an environment of high standards, everything begins to change. You move differently, you think sharper, you execute with urgency, not because you're forcing yourself, but because the environment pulls it out of you. You no longer have to push yourself every day because you're surrounded by others who are pushing too. You stop being the only one with ambition. You become part of a culture where success is the norm. So take control of your surroundings, be deliberate, be selective. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because your future does. You're not just building success, you're building a world where success becomes inevitable. That's how average becomes fortune, not alone, but with the right energy around you every single day. There will come a point on your journey, whether early or far along, when everything will feel like it's working against you. The plan won't be enough. The belief will be tested, the discipline will feel heavy, the people you counted on may not show up, and it's in that moment, above all others, where the sixth and final step reveals its true power, the will to never quit. This isn't about motivation anymore, this is about resolve. Fortune doesn't just come to those who start strong, it comes to those who refuse to stop. It belongs to the ones who keep walking when the path disappears, who keep building when no one notices, who keep believing when the results are invisible. This kind of will cannot be taught, it must be forged. And it is forged in the fire of challenge, setback, and silence. Most people quit not because they're incapable, but because they don't understand that adversity is part of the process. They think struggle is a signal to stop. But those who rise from average to fortune see it differently. They know resistance is a sign they're moving in the right direction. They welcome it, they expect it, because they know it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to build them into the kind of person who can handle the reward. Every great fortune is guarded by obstacles. They are the gatekeepers, and most people never pass because they don't stay long enough. They quit in the valley before the mountain reveals itself, but not you. You must decide in advance that you are in this for the long haul. You must anchor yourself to the outcome so deeply that no delay, no rejection, no failure can shake you. You must be willing to go longer, dig deeper, and believe harder than most are willing to. Persistence is not loud. It doesn't demand recognition. It shows up quietly, every day, without excuse. It is the voice that whispers, "Keep going," when everything around you says stop. It is the decision to get back up, not once or twice, but every single time, because the truth is, no, one fails because they fall, they fail because they stay down. The beautiful irony is this: the moment right before most people quit is often the moment just before the breakthrough. The darkness before the dawn, the silence before the applause, and the ones who endure just a little longer are the ones who inherit what others only dreamed about, not because they were lucky, not because they had help, but because they refused to surrender. So if you truly want to rise from average to fortune, Make this final step a part of who you are. I will never quit. Say it until it becomes your identity. Live it until nothing can break you. Because the world eventually bows to the one who never backs down, and in that unwavering persistence, fortune finds you.